Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going deep, really deep into the world of Jewish mysticism.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, we're going to try and unpack some of the core concepts of the Kabbalah.
Ah, the Kabbalah. Fascinating system.
It is. And we're going to be focusing on knowledgelecture3.pdf for this deep dive.
Excellent source, full of rich symbolism and deep spiritual insights.
It is. So if you're interested in exploring the mysteries of the soul, hidden meanings within the Hebrew alphabet.
Oh, and let's not forget those fascinating ancient symbols, the Philfot cross and the caduceus.
Exactly. Those are on the agenda, too.
There's a lot to unpack, ready to dive in.
Absolutely. Let's start with this idea of the tripartite soul. What's that all about?
Well, the Kabbalah views the soul not as a single entity, but as a multi-layered, complex being.
Okay, so not just one soul, but multiple parts to the soul.
Yes, composed of three primary parts: neshama, ruach, and nefesh, each with its own unique function.
Like a team working together.
Precisely. And neshama, that's the highest aspect. It represents our divine spark, our connection to something greater, that yearning for purpose and meaning.
I see. So it's like when you feel a pull towards something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. That's neshama, whispering its guidance, urging you toward your true path.
Makes sense. And what about the other two, ruach and nefesh? What roles do they play in this soul team?
Well, ruach, that's the intellectual powerhouse. The strategist, the analyzer, it loves a good mental challenge.
The thinker, the problem solver.
Exactly. And then we have nefesh.
That sounds like the more grounded part of us.
Right. Nefesh is all about our instincts, our survival mechanisms, our base desires. It keeps us rooted in the physical world.
Keeps us from floating away in all that intellectual and spiritual stuff, huh?
You could say that. The Kabbalah emphasizes that a balanced and harmonious soul requires all three parts working in unison.
That makes sense. So it's not about denying our desires or suppressing our intellect. It's about understanding how they all fit together.
Precisely. It's about recognizing the interplay of these forces within us so we can make conscious choices rather than being ruled by impulses.
Now, Knowledge Lecture 3 mentions that neshama is further divided into three subparts.
Yes, it gets even deeper, doesn't it?
It does. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, think of neshama as having its own internal hierarchy. We have yachita, chita, and then, well, neshama again, each with a specific function.
Hold on. So there's neshama within neshama.
Yes, but each level operates on a different plane. Yachita, linked to the Sephira Kether, is our most essential self, pure connection to the divine.
Wow, that sounds pretty profound.
It is. It's the root of our being, our ultimate source. Then there's Chia.
Chioka.
Linked to the Sephira Chokmah, this is the vital life force energy that flows through us. It's that spark of creativity, the passion that fuels our actions.
So Yachita is the root, Chia is the energy, and then neshama is, well, the aspiration.
A great way to put it. And what's remarkable is that the Kabbalah connects each of these soul parts to specific Sephiroth on the Tree of Life.
Right, the tree of life. We definitely need a whole other deep dive to explore that.
Agreed, but it highlights how everything is interconnected within this system.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the Hebrew alphabet. What's its significance in the Kabbalah?
The Hebrew alphabet isn't just a way to write words in the Kabbalah. It's a system of profound symbolic meaning, a key to unlocking deeper truths.
Really? So each letter holds a secret?
In a way, yes. The Sefer Yetzirah, meaning Book of Formation, is a foundational holistic text that dives deep into this concept.
Fascinating. And it categorizes the letters into mothers, doubles, and singles, right?
Precisely. And each group has its own unique qualities and corresponds to different aspects of creation.
Okay, break it down for me. Let's start with the mothers.
The three mothers, Aleph, Mem, and Shin, represent air, water, and fire, respectively. They're considered the primal elements, the building blocks of the universe.
I see. And what about the seven doubles? Where do they fit in?
The doubles, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, Kaf, Pe, Resh, and Tau. These represent dualities, light and darkness, expansion and contraction. They also correspond to the seven planets known in ancient times.
Okay, duality makes sense. So what are the 12 singles all about? What do they represent?
The 12 singles, those are linked to the 12 signs of the zodiac. Think He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Lamed, Nun, Samek, Ain, Sadi, and Kuf.
That's a lot of letters. So the singles represent the diversity of human experience.
Yes, and the cyclical nature of time, each letter playing its part.
I'm starting to see how intricate this system is. The lecture mentions a connection between these letter groups and the holy place of the temple, too.
Yes, the Sefer Yetzirah links the letters to specific elements within the holy place of the temple in Jerusalem.
Oh, interesting. Like a physical representation of these abstract concepts.
Exactly. It shows a deep connection between language, sacred space, and the cosmic order.
Could you give an example of that connection?
Certainly. For instance, the 12 single letters are linked to the 12 loaves of bread on the table of shewbread.
The bread, symbolizing.
Sustenance, abundance. While the 3 mother letters resonate with the altar of incense, signifying prayer and the ascent of consciousness.
Wow, so much depth packed into those letters and the temple itself. It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden within these ancient traditions.
The Kabbalah is full of hidden depths waiting to be explored.
Speaking of hidden things, the lecture also mentions different types of spiritual beings: angels, elemental spirits, astral entities. Can you shed some light on those?
Of course, the Kabbalah recognizes that the spiritual realm is populated with a variety of beings, each with their own nature and function.
Okay, like a whole ecosystem of spirits.
Exactly. You have astral spirits, for example, which can be tricky. They're illusory forms, remnants of past experiences, or even projections of our own subconscious.
So not all spirits are friendly.
Not necessarily. It's important to have discernment. We also have elemental spirits connected to the forces of nature: earth, air, fire, and water.
I can see how those could be powerful.
They are. Some helpful, others disruptive. And then, of course, there are the angels.
Ah, yes. Beings of pure light and goodness.
Exactly. Angels are considered messengers of the divine. They embody purity and act as guides and protectors.
So understanding the different types of spirits helps us navigate the spiritual realm more safely.
Yes, discernment is key in these matters. Not everything we perceive as spiritual is necessarily benevolent.
That's good advice. Now, I've always been fascinated by the tarot. Any Kabbalistic connections there?
Absolutely. The tarot is steeped in Kabbalistic symbolism. Each of the 10 numbered cards in a suit corresponds to one of the 10 Sephiroth on the Tree of Life.
Really? So the cards are like a map of the Tree of Life?
In a way, yes. And the 4 suits, wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, relate to the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton.
The Tetra what now?
The Tetragrammaton, it's the most sacred name of God in Jewish tradition, YHVH.
Wait, the suits represent the letters of God's name.
Each letter has a specific association. Wands, symbolizing fire and action, connect to the letter Yod. Cups, representing emotions and intuition, to He. Swords, intellect and challenges, to Vow. And finally, pentacles, symbolizing the material world and manifestation, to the final He.
So the tarot isn't just about fortune telling.
No, it's a powerful tool for self-discovery and spiritual exploration. It can provide insights into our strengths, weaknesses, and potential.
I'm starting to see the tarot in a whole new light. What about the court cards? The kings, queens, pages, and knights. Do they have Kabbalistic significance too?
They do. They're viewed as vice-regents of YHVH within each of the 4 Kabbalistic worlds: Atziluth, Braya, Yetzirah, and Asaya.
4 worlds.
Yes, 4 worlds. Each card embodies specific qualities and archetypes, providing further insights into human nature and the dynamics of life.
Wow, there's so much more to the tarot than I ever realized.
The Kabbalah offers a rich framework for understanding the cards and their deeper meanings.
Okay, so we've talked about the soul, the Hebrew alphabet, spiritual beings, and even the tarot. Now let's dive into those fascinating symbols you mentioned earlier. The Philfot cross, the caduceus, and the moon on the Tree of Life.
Sounds good. Let's start with the Philfot cross.
Okay, now I know that symbol has been, well, misused in recent history.
Yes, unfortunately, it's been appropriated and distorted, but it's important to remember its original meaning as a sacred symbol found in various cultures throughout history.
Right, so what's the Kabbalistic perspective on the Philfot cross?
It represents the sun's journey through the zodiac and its interaction with the 4 elements. It's formed by 17 squares arranged within a larger square.
Okay, 17 squares. How does that work?
The 12 signs of the zodiac and the 4 elements are all cleverly placed within this structure.
Interesting. It sounds like a complex visual representation of cosmic cycles and forces.
Exactly. It reminds us of the interconnectedness of everything in the universe. Now let's move on to the caduceus.
Yes, the symbol with the 2 snakes intertwined around a staff. What's the Kabbalistic take on that?
The caduceus, often associated with healing and transformation, represents the 3 mother letters we talked about: Shin, Aleph, and Mem.
Right, air, water, and fire.
The central staff symbolizes air, mediating between fire, represented by the upward-moving serpent, and water, symbolized by the downward moving serpent.
So it's about achieving balance between these opposing forces.
Precisely. And if you overlay the caduceus onto the tree of life, its top touches the three supernals, Kether, Chokmah, and Bina, while the serpents intertwine the lower seven Sephiroth.
Wow, that imagery is powerful. It really highlights how these energies interact and influence us. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the moon. How does that figure into Kabbalistic symbolism?
The moon, with its phases, beautifully illustrates the interplay of opposing forces on the tree of life. Remember those two primary pillars, the pillar of mercy and the pillar of severity.
Right, you mentioned those earlier.
As the moon waxes, it embraces the pillar of mercy, associated with expansion, compassion, and outward expression. As it wanes, it embraces the pillar of severity, representing boundaries, structure, and introspection.
So it's like the moon's phases reflect the ebb and flow of energy within ourselves and the universe as a whole.
Exactly. And when the moon is full, reflecting the sun's light perfectly, it aligns with Tifereth, the central sephira on the tree of life, symbolizing balance, harmony, and integration.
It's amazing how such a simple, everyday thing like the moon can hold so much symbolic depth. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the complexities of the soul to the secrets of the Hebrew alphabet, spiritual beings, the tarot, and even ancient symbols. It's clear that Kabbalah is an incredibly rich and complex system.
It is a lifetime of study.
But how can we, as individuals, apply these teachings to our modern lives? What's the takeaway for our listeners?
The Kabbalah, at its core, is a path of self-discovery. By understanding its concepts, we can gain deeper insights into ourselves, our motivations, and our place in the grand scheme of things.
So it's not just about ancient mysticism, but also about personal growth and understanding our own inner workings.
Precisely. It empowers us to make more conscious choices, to tap into our creative potential, and to live a life that's aligned with our true purpose.
It's like a roadmap for the soul.
You could say that. It offers a framework for understanding ourselves and the universe around us. And as you delve deeper, you'll inevitably uncover new layers of meaning and insight.
Well, it's certainly been a fascinating journey for me.
I've enjoyed our exploration.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Kabbalah. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.